Good morning, everybody, and welcome. It is Friday, and we know what Fun Friday is. Excuse me there, got a bit of a frog. It is Fun Friend Friday. So as you jump in, take a moment, hit the share shit. Take a moment and comment with Fun Friend Friday in the house. You know, it's been good morning, Dr. Lowe. I need to connect with you. I need some Dr. Lowe time. And first, thank you for calling my attention, Dr. Lowe, bringing me into the room. To all women, happy International Women's Day. I grew up in a house with 4 sisters. I know the power of women. I know the spirit of strong women, and I honor you. You know, I said in my earlier post, the world would not exist without you. And that sounds very grand and grandiose, but the truth is the world would not exist without you women. Because us men, we can't make babies on our own. We can't raise children. We can't love and nurture the way you do. We can't inspire and create. You were born and designed to create. You were birthed out of the energy of creativity and change and magnifying and multiplying. So I celebrate you women. You are powerful creatures. And us men are fools sometimes for not recognizing it and not celebrating it. And I'm glad somebody was smart enough to set us day aside to draw us men folk into the attention and awareness of the awesomeness of women. So happy International Women's Day. I applaud you, and I applaud the women in my life, both my sisters and my mother and my aunts and my grannies and all the people that have influenced and impacted me and my friends and my colleagues. Man, I learn a lot from you ladies, and I will always be indebted. So happy International Women's Day. I celebrate you all. So it is Fun Friend Friday. We've had a busy week, and the best part of the week, honestly, for me is Fun Friend Friday, because we get to gather into this room, we get to connect with somebody and learn and hear about their experiences and gain perspective. I mean, truth is, I love Fun Friend Friday because it's sometimes a coaching lesson for me. It's like traveling around the world or traveling to a different time and place, because I get to hear somebody else's perspective. And today we're talking about that idea of expectations. Now, our guest has traveled 11 time zones, 11, basically it's now 7 p.m. in Bangladesh, to arrive at a place that he has dreamed about and thought about and planned about and saved about and grown into. And I thought it would be really fun before he steps into the big room, as we say at IMC, to really find out that idea of expectation and how expectation has pulled him forward and drawn him into it. So I'm going to invite him into the room. Why I do so, take a moment to say good morning, say hello. Let me bring Kamal on camera. I think he's coming. We'll know in a minute when he shows up right there. There he is. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Eric. How are you
How are
doing?
you today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be with you, and what a wonderful opportunity to stay with you, to talk to you, and to learn from you in my growth journey.
It's not often we get a Harvard graduate.
Oh, no. I'm here actually to learn from this great country, from this great nation, from this great people. And
so is this your first trip to the US?
Indeed it is. And after I think 20 years, after about 20 years, I have been, dreaming. I have been dreaming, but I never took action. So
in India we say a guest is God. So may you be treated as a guest here in my country today and throughout this week.
Sorry, I couldn't get your point. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying that an expression I learned in traveling was that when you have a guest, it is God, or guest is God. And so as our guest here at IMC, as our guest here in the US, may you be treated and feel like a God during your journey.
That's God will.
Yes. So hear this, people, and I'm diving in. We're going to go quick. And if I talk fast, because you know that's what I do here, just slow me down and clear me up. 20 years.
Yes.
I know people that can't hold on to a dream for 20 minutes. Or they're faced with a 7-day challenge or a 14-day commitment, and they give up halfway through. How 20 years? Tell me what it was like 20 years ago and what it's been like over the last 2 years.
Okay, that's always you see. I mean, the place I came from very core of village of Bangladesh, and that's in 1994. And when I completed my 10th class, in my country we call it SSC, Secondary School Certificate. So that's what I completed in 1994, and I wanted to come to our capital city, that is Dhaka. So I came to Dhaka. So since then, I was going through the higher education, that is college, and then the university. And in 1996, I completed my HSC, that is higher certificate. I mean, that's a 12th grade, right? And then I thought, I want to study at Harvard at some time. You can imagine 1996, and this is 2019. This is actually more than 20 years. So, but uh, I was not sure how I'm going to do that.
Okay, so I need to educate. 96, you said someday I will be educated at Harvard.
Right.
Not how.
Yeah.
It will be done.
Yeah. So that's exactly.
Now, I want to catch everybody up. Last week, you flew to the US for the first time. You went to Harvard. You attended a business
Leadership strategies and coaching.
Leadership strategies and coaching at Harvard University. You walked the campuses of Harvard University.
Right.
Did you see 20 years?
Yeah. That was kind of, I couldn't believe in myself that I am walking into the campus and I'm attending the program.
Let's grow that dream. You're not walking on the campus as a tourist.
Right.
You were walking on the campus as a student.
Correct.
Invited to be on place.
Absolutely. That is actually unbelievable experience, because this part of my dream was truly very hard, because I got to wait more than 20 years of this dream come true. And before that, I realized how it looks when we go through the dream, because I had already encountered some of my dream, but this dream was hard. This dream was it was not coming into my territory, and I didn't know really how to make it happen. It's US, and I didn't have the visa until last year, and I was living very mediocre life. Mediocre means I didn't have the courage, I didn't have the expectations from my life.
So I want to check in here. You heard him say, I had to work for 20 years, not wait for 20 years, but I had to work for 20 years. And during that 20 years, I was acquiring savings, working on skill sets, trying to create connections. And it wasn't until the last year, the 19th season of this dream, before the resources started to even come up on the horizon. Why didn't you give up at year 17, 15, 13, 12, 2? I mean, really, come on. Bangladesh is not, Bangladesh is growing and it's becoming a very powerful place, but it's still a very poor and struggling country.
Yeah.
I mean, the cost of a Harvard education for an American on our economy is pretty tough. Why didn't you give up?
I simply didn't give up because this is my one of the most important dream probably. It's not because it is the Harvard, but because I wanted to. I just wanted to, and I didn't know actually how it is going to happen. But it came to my mind, and I was stick to that, idea that came into my mind. And at some point I believe that no idea comes to anyone's mind, in my mind, that I won't be able to live up to, because then why the idea came to my mind, I knew only this, maybe 6 7 years when life actually gave me very hard time. 16 years I was actually working for corporations, and that time I was feeling I'm not living my life. But I always stick to that idea that came to my mind. Not many ideas came to my mind, but this idea came to my mind, and I thought there must be a reason. That's why somewhere from some place it's came to me, and that's what I knew actually. So I was always sticking to that and you know looking for the opportunities, and thinking why. Later half of my thinking, I actually got the shape, you know why it came to my mind and what I could do so to fulfill my dream. So when I work into this principle, then everything became actually easier for me.
So what I want you guys to hear, have, do you have a copy of Think and Grow Rich?
I have. I
Okay,
have.
somebody at JMT has to get him a couple extra copies to take back to Bangladesh. Um, this is where Napoleon Hill speaks about a burning desire that you cannot let go of, that it becomes so all-consuming that even though you may be on a different path, being involved in corporate America, as you sleep at night, it wakes you and reminds you it exists. And in that burning desire, if it truly, like, things are going to come and go, there's going to be like pieces that will fall away, but that one true burning desire that says you must, you have to, you cannot be complete until it's done, is what drove you through 16 years. And then when you finally said, I will accept this as my burning desire, it began to manifest itself into your life.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And it didn't came in easy way. It came into hard way as well, because uh, 16 years actually, I thought I was not living my life, and I was not happy. I was always changing my job. Not knowing why I'm changing it, but I was not happy always. So, and in Bangladesh, it takes time actually to establish into the corporate industry, because the number of population is competing for a job, right? So
There's only what, 10 million people in the capital?
yeah, in our capital is actually more than 10 million. In our nation is total 100 and about 180 million. In our capital is about 20 million.
And
You
I,
can
I
imagine. It's a tiny little city, and one of the world's most densely populated country. And for a job, if any good job is circular, is on pay or on on demand, for a job, maybe 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 applicants apply for that. I'm talking about that
okay,
kind of scenario.
I need to get this in perspective, because this is every day for you. That you go to apply for a position and you have 10 to 20,000 equally qualified people.
Right.
Not 10,000 people that shouldn't be there. There are 10,000 people in the room that could equally qualify for that position.
Correct. Correct.
I know people that will not start a business because their neighbor is doing something similar. They have a competition of 3 to 5 people and they say, I'll never succeed because somebody else is already doing that. 10 to 20,000 people show up for one job. Now, I want to give, because I've traveled the world and I've seen different perspectives, a lot of times I think us in America don't understand the struggle. So a middle income a good job, like you were the one that rose to the top in that 20,000 people. What is an average US dollar income per year?
Average, I would say, is 150, little over.
150?
Yeah, per month. I'm talking about. Let's say it's actually less than, yeah, 150 in that range.
150
Yeah,
US dollars a
yeah,
month?
yeah.
Okay. Y'all, so we'll round it to you're making $200 a month US.
Right. You can make it. Yeah. Rough. I mean, this is on an average. We have
On
the
an
work.
average.
Yeah,
So let's
on an
say
average.
because I know
Yeah,
you and you're hardworking and you're intelligent, you're making $300 to $400 a month.
yeah. You can. That's that's the range. Yeah, safely you can think. That's if we talk about the corporate, it's this $2,200 is the entry level, is the benchmark. Okay, so let's put
So
it
I
that
want to
way.
put this in perspective of how much sacrifice you're making to be in the room that you're in tonight. You're at IMC, JMT, etc. The hotel room you're in costs the equivalent of 1 month's wage.
Absolutely. So that's more than $200 per day. Yeah, it's this this
Are you
Orlando
guys
area.
starting to understand the idea of what sacrifice means to live a dream? The cost of the hotel room for one night is equivalent to the entry level position for somebody in corporate America and Bangladesh. Now, most of us would say, I can never achieve that. I can never go after that. My dream cannot happen. I would have to give up 1 month's salary in order to attend one day of training. Now, we haven't included the cost of airfare, food, entry into the
Hmm.
event, extra clothes, passports, visas, travel documents.
Yeah,
Now you understand why it took 20 years to be at this moment.
true. Let me tell you, it's actually mm, uh, the profession I chose, right, in Bangladesh, and that would be more astonishing for you or maybe for your audience as well. After 16 years living into the corporate, like I was doing sales, business development, relationship management into the corporate job, and I chose to be the coach in my country, and in where there is actually no coach at this moment from Bangladesh, or maybe one or two. I don't know.
Well, now they have the best.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knows actually what the coaching actually does. What the coach, what the hell, coaching means. Coach means probably people understand in corporate. That's the job for sports. They need, or maybe somebody who is not beyond that. There is no coaching. There is no coach, right? Let me put it that way. But there is mentoring. The concept is there. But I choose this, and coming out of known territory in 16 years, because what I learned, the way I was doing, I was thinking I was doing, if I continue to do it in that way, I cannot expect the better result than that of yesterday, than that of today. I was doing and doing and doing, right, the same way, the same thinking, the same belief. It was not working beyond my expectations, because my expectations to my life was, I wanted to go to Harvard. I want to, travel across the world. I want to do something where I could influence and help millions of people. That somehow came into my mind into the corporate journey, into the 16 years. So then it was not coming to my light, to my eyesight. So I waited, year two, year three, year four, five, but that, but it was not coming. I realized later on, because my same thinking, same actions, same doing, in the same process, same methodology, and same belief, same old belief. So things were not coming out of the box. Let me put it that way. So that's the reason, actually, also, 99% of the population in my country, you know, or they can't come up from the known territory because of the expectations, because of the insecurity, because of the belief, because of the mindset. Ultimately, it's hard, and I had to pay a huge price for that as well. You know, sacrificing. You talk about sacrificing. You talk about the, making people understand. The most difficult part came to, guess what, from the core of the family. What are you going to do? What is going to be your identity? How are you going to earn your living? So
I,
that.
I was gonna say, I can hear your mother-in-law. How are you going to take care of my family with this? You're a crazy man leaving your job. You have a good job. Why you leave your good job? And all of that, I've been in the culture. I understand. So here you are tonight, or today, this morning, at JMT IMC. Those of you that are in the room, that are in IMC, that are going to IMC, you got to find him. You got to shake his hand. Your family is sitting in Bangladesh.
Right.
The financial sacrifice,
Mm-hmm.
the emotional sacrifice, the commitment, the fact that you got on a plane and actually left Bangladesh to come to this unknown place called Disney World, so to speak.
Yeah.
What is their expectation for you, and what is your expectation for yourself this week?
This week is actually also one of the biggest learning opportunity for me, because the why I came to this world, this profession, or this passion, I would rather say, that's the dream came true. Right now my biggest expectation to me is actually learn from all the people who are doing it last 10, 15, 20 years. That's the biggest expectation from me, because I want to watch them, I want to see them, how they speak, frankly speaking, because I come from a background where our mother tongue is not English. And my expectation to me, that is, I want to travel across the world, every nations of the world that I want to travel. That's, come what may. I have decided, and I have decided already for that. Number one. Number two is, I have decided that I want to I want to help hundreds of millions of people across the planet, come what may. Because, the reason is why, because in my country, we have 180 millions of population. And if I say 100 million, that's not even justifying to my country, because we have more than 180 million and it's growing. That's why I say more than hundreds and hundreds of millions of population. I want to help them to realize the potential and to believe on their dream, because it took me 20 years, and I don't want, to people wait to 20 years to realize the potential and their dream. So that's the reason I need to learn from you. I need to learn how to speak. I need to learn how they talk. I need to learn, why they do what they do. What is the reason behind, the people take action, in this fast forward country. Everybody is, I came across into this industry, this trade is unbelievably talented. They have all these things. How can I learn that? That's only my expectation, because the place I want to be in my life, in next 10, 15 years, across the planet, in every nations, I must learn from you.
So, you know how much I honor you and my Bangladesh Toastmaster team. I get invited in every so often to hang out with them, and they're always so. I just honor you guys. You guys are so amazing. I love the idea that you said 100 million people isn't enough, because I wouldn't even leave my own city, my own country. That I have to dream in the 200 and 300 million people, even to affect somebody outside of my own country, outside of my own language. I love the idea that because you have the perspective that it took you 20 years, 20 people, we have it so easy. I'm just going to put it out there. I know we all have struggles. I know we all have hardships. I know we're all fighting a fight. But let me just put this in perspective. You do not have the advantage of putting this hotel room on a credit card, do you?
That's another challenge from my country. You are correct.
So it wasn't that I'm arriving here, I'm going to stay for 4 nights and then go home and figure out how to make it happen. No, I have to show up with cash, so to speak, in my hand to pay for my dream as my dream is occurring.
True. This is very valid point you said. This, because this is all tens of thousands of dollar. The investment.
The tens of thousands of US dollars on somebody who, if they're successful, is making $400 to $500 a month.
Yeah.
And this wasn't a decision that you made, I don't know, 6 months ago, like, oh, I'm going to go off and go to Harvard University and then go to John Maxwell training and then go to this training and just put it on a credit card. And when I come home, I'll figure out how to make it happen.
It doesn't happen to my country, because from my country we cannot use credit card more than $300 in an online transaction. So that is one limitation. So anything which is more than $300, oh my God, you cannot. That is the country laws and the regulations is that, number one. And we have.
I feel guilty knowing that I spend that much maybe on a day.
So more than $300 you cannot use online. So number one. Number two is we have the cap limitations for an annual budget for every people to use it internationally card. I mean, be it in card, be it in dollar. So that is altogether $7,000 for whole year. You can either carry cash, dollar, or you can use the card, outside, Bangladesh, physically.
So let me understanding, and I understand because having lived outside the U.S., the same idea that they don't want you exporting dollars into the
Right.
U.S. because of the economy and all of that. So you had to figure out, okay, I'm only allowed to spend $7,000 outside the U.S. This entire trip is going to cost me between $7,000 and $15,000. So I'm going to have to put money into my dream before I arrive, and then still wait 6 or 7 months to do it again, so that when I arrive, I still have enough cash in my hand to go buy McDonald's and eat.
This was hard equation to manage this, this transaction. I had to look for the other options. I had to ask my people whom I know, how they can help me in this solving, because this is I'm talking about more than $20,000 investment that I put, into this trip, this Harvard, the John Maxwell, this professional business coaching, and the other things, and plus the other expenses. This is why I put it, because I have my expectation towards me. It's more than $20,000. This trip is actually costing, investment more than $20,000. I mean, just for the sake of understanding, I'm telling you, not to. This is not exactly I'm saying, because to the gravity of the, and we cannot use $300 using our credit card to pay somewhere. So that's, the most difficult part. So all this actually the challenge. Now I take it as a challenge, because I understand now, the more the challenge, the more the difficulties, the better the opportunity. Because into this challenging environment, there is very less people. There is no crowd, probably. So that's another
and
advantage.
I know people are probably like, okay, Eric, get off the money part. But I want you guys to really hear, I'm earning $200 a month. And that's successful, that's comfortable, that's educated income. That's not, washing car windows on the street. That's going into work with a shower and a shirt. I'm going to spend $20,000 to fulfill a dream. That means if I had to do absolutely nothing, it would still take me 100 months to put that money aside. Now, on top of that, I got to take care of my wife and my kids and my family. I got to put gas in my car. I got to live. And so often, I think when we start off on a journey, when we start off on a dream, and we hit the first bump in the road, we hit the first obstacle, we have to make a law of trade-up or sacrifice, or it becomes a challenge, or one of our friends says, you'll never get to Harvard. I mean, come on, you live in Bangladesh, you make $300-400 a month. You know what it's going to cost you to go to Harvard University, not counting the airfare and the travel and And we give up our dream because somebody tells us it's not possible. We give up our dream because we realize that, wait a minute, it's going to take me 10 or 15 years just to have enough to plant the seed. I don't even know how I'm going to water it. we often give up early because it becomes a challenge. And that's why I wanted to bring you to my audience today, is because I so honor you and all of the other people that are really traveling from around the world to arrive at the point that you did, because I think sometimes we lose perspective and we live in an expectation, and as soon as the expectation isn't fulfilled overnight or it becomes a challenge, we say, oh, I had the wrong vision, I had the wrong dream, I have to refocus, I have to redo. You're sitting tonight will be the kickoff, and then tomorrow morning you'll get to walk into the big room. I wish I could be there to pat you on the back, to applaud you, to give you a moment to breathe in the sacrifices that you have made to arrive at your dream today. It amazes me and humbles me, my brother. It amazes me and humbles me. I know your journey has not been without people criticizing you and laughing at you and losing family and disrespect. I know that you've had to tell your children no when it would have been easier to just give up on the dream. I know with just a very small sliver how much you've had to sacrifice to arrive at where you're arriving.
Yeah.
So
That there's only the what I can share is the bigger the reason, the bigger the cause, the easier the way. So that's what I heard, because that's why I make the reason, I make the cause bigger, because had it not been a bigger reason, which is a bigger purpose, why I am doing it, why I'm coming here, why I want to learn from people like you and others, why I am expecting a bigger expectations from my life. That is a reason. And when I understand that perspective, the entire game plan changed. Earlier I was only thinking about how I'm going to make it, how I'm going to earn the money that I need, and to go to US, to go to Harvard, how I'm going to make it. That how never came to me. But when I understood the perspective of why I want to do that, when what I could do to fulfill my desire and my dream, and I utilized my how, that is, and I put it that way, that is my self-learning. I didn't learn it from anywhere, but analyzing why things are not happening, what I could do, what's going wrong. Then I figured out why and what I could do, and then how I could utilize my own resources. My own resources means, I mean, my internal resources, my body, my mind, and my thought, thinking. So this is actually my resources, I realized. So I thought, first I could utilize this, and then I could depend on the external things. So the how, why was not clear. I was only looking for, maybe to go to the Harvard, go to the US and to earn money, and have some money, buy car, buy house. That was actually my why, frankly speaking. I didn't know the clarity of the reason, true, frankly speaking. I must
you
be
guys,
honest. Yeah.
you guys, you just went to, no wonder you went to Harvard. I'm just going to say, no wonder you went to Harvard. When I was focused on how the universe could serve me, it moved slowly. When I asked the universe how I could serve it from what I had, the universe moved quickly.
Yeah.
We often enter into a dream, often enter into a new idea, into a new thought, like, how is this going to fit on me? How is this going to change my life, change my family? Like, bring it to me, universe, bring it to me, bring it to me. I need this, bring it to me. And the universe is like, okay, I'll be happy to, but you only have two hands and I can only fill them so fast and you can only empty them so quickly. But when we turn to universe, God, whoever you want to call it, and say, universe, how can I serve you? The universe is like, ooh, Ooh, I got a lot of ways. But before I use you here, I got to give you this. And before I use you there, I got to give you that. And before I use you here, I got to get you to Harvard. And then I got to get you to JMT. And then I got to get you to this speaking gig and connected to that person big. Because I need to use you to hit over 180 million people. And as soon as you shifted from self to serve,
Yeah,
the opportunity to go to Harvard opened up.
yeah. And those actually, this came after so many things. Like what you said very correctly. Why I want to do that. I want to serve. That way, I want to. I was particularly looking for where I can serve, right? And I found that where I got the most struggle in my life. That's and the exactly millions of people goes through this struggling process, because I came from very village in at the age of teenage, with a three luggages of the way I came to US, just quite similar. Mm, Three luggages at the age of a teenage, 1994, and millions of people in my country, they do the same. And
So perspective. I got to do this. I got to laugh because I love. You left home with 3 pieces of luggage to begin a life. No
right,
home, no car, no furnished apartment on a college campus.
yeah, no, nothing, and knew nobody into that city even.
And now you're sitting in a hotel room where there's 3 pieces of Jan's luggage piled up in the corner.
By the way, I'm going to that hotel actually tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't get room today. I mean, because I came earlier, in Orlando.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
the point is, why I want to serve them, because I struggled 18 years, 20 years. Let me put it that way: 16 years in the corporate life, and before that another 4, 5, 6 years. So I struggled into that nobody, I found nobody, or to help me to realize my potential, to believe in me what I believe. I didn't have my belief, but had it been somebody coming to me, hey, you got the potential, you have the ability, you could do anything to your life and you could achieve anything. I got nobody to tell me, to encourage me, to support me. So there I saw, oh my God, I'm struggling 16 years in the corporate, and before that university life is 20 years plus. That's the arena. The suffering I am going through. If I can use this, if I can help others to ease this journey, because this is a 20-year journey, as you said, how I can, what I could do to ease, these millions of people's journey, that they want to believe in themselves, they want to realize their potential and their dream, but they are not following the right process, or struggling as I am struggling. So let me do something into these people, those who are struggling, those who are actually looking to aspiring to, those who have the desire and expectation from their life. That's the why, and I got it.
So having traveled through that area and exposed, there is a culture that suffering is good, or suffering is of God. Like, because of the religious and the cultural history, that how do you separate the idea, the cultural religious belief that suffering is okay because it will take us to the next place, the next, it's part of the culture because of just the historical and religion. How do you separate that out and into a mindset that it's okay to believe, to dream, to succeed, to grow, to go to the next place? How do you separate out that Eastern philosophy and the Western, so to speak, mindset, and still not be disconnected from the community you want to serve?
True. When it comes to religion, in my country, it is progressive. It's not that conservative. It's not conservative at all. Frankly speaking, compared to, I think Bangladesh is the Muslim country, most open-minded. Among compared to other Muslim countries, because we follow. The reason is actually Bangladesh was the first British colony, right?
Okay.
So it was colonized by British at the time. And then we came out from the British colony, and then we went to like India and Pakistan and to that territory. But still, uh, because of that, probably uh, the Bangladeshis Muslim, the Bangladeshis culture is not that conservative. But the issue you rightly said is actually the mindset, the belief. The belief is not, I'm not talking about the religion. The belief is, I'm talking about not the God. The belief I'm talking about, the belief in himself or herself. That is because of the history. That is because of the kind of where the economy is, where the uh, overall culture is. We got to say, no, you can't do that. You don't have the ability. You don't deserve it. You haven't, you born in third world country. So I'm particularly coming to that point. You are not in Europe, you're not in America. You don't have the higher education. You don't have the better university. You don't live into those places where they can do that. You can't. These, actually you got to do this only this way. So this, actually the limiting belief is the killer, is the only killer, that kills thousands, millions of people's of dream. That's the only obstacle that we have.
So when I was in Paraguay, it was very similar, that when you tried to empower the people, they laughed because they said all the power belongs to the government. And when you said leadership, they always thought of government, and they thought of corruption, and they thought of separation. So how would it be fair to say that you are a first generation mindset? That you are actually the generation, or you belong to the generation that this is actually a new idea, a new concept of freedom?
Yeah, so this is true. So this, you talk about the millennial generation or the millennial mindset. You know, they always want to be free. They always want to achieve something very quicker, very faster. That's another gap. Very quicker, very faster, and very not focusing into anything. I mean, or just trying to do in any way possible, in any way. That means, be it requires adopting unfair means, or adopting the other shortcuts in a shortcut process. So that is another mindset. I kind of find it's a hindrance to achieve the dream, uh, because the easy thing, easy come, easy goes.
So I want to go back a question. Um, so here you are, somewhat of a progressive in your country, with your mindset and your beliefs and your philosophies. I know there are many others that you surround yourself with in your group and in the community. And it's funny because I get so many friend requests from Bangladesh, and I have to go back and see if they're connected to you, and if they are, then they
Okay.
So by the way, if you're friend requesting and you're from Bangladesh, make sure you point out who my friends are. But to that point, how do you go back to this generation and teach them that it's possible when there isn't an internal reference point? Like, it's easy for me to teach youth about having a dream and following your passion, and any idea can happen. Look at Mark Zuckerberg, because he lives within my culture, he lives within my community, he looks like me, talks like me. In Bangladesh, where this is a new idea, a new concept, a new belief, and you have how do you provide the law of the mirror, the law of, that modeling example for the people that you're trying to coach and influence and impact?
That's the real challenge, that's the real challenge that I'm still trying to figure it out, but I'm still trying to figure it out. Yeah, I'm here to learn this methodology and approach. But one thing I'm certain, in my country, people have aspiration, people have expectation too. Into the generation I'm talking about, you're talking about, they have expectations. Now, I think the methodology, because I need to tweak a little bit, to fit into the culture of mine, to fit into the different segment of the population that I am thinking, because it's not always the same way, same methodology that works here that would work there, or the way it is working for me, it might not work for somebody else, because every one of us is unique. Every one of us, upbringing is different. Our mindset is different, our thought process is different. I need to understand why they are thinking what they're thinking today. So
My friend, you're so you guys hear this. Did you hear how many times he used the word methodology? He's not walking in and saying, I'm just going to inspire the world and I'm just going to talk off the top of my head and hope that I convert the entire 180 million people. No, I am studying the methodology of change, of influence, of leadership, of thought. And I'm taking that methodology that I'm learning from a variety of sources, and I'm looking at my subject, my client, my population, and I'm trying to apply that methodology to them. So often in this space of influencers and creators and thinkers and coaches, we don't do the studying that's required to understand the methodology, the systems, the thought process to create sustainable change. And that's why I so admire you, because I know that if you're studying the methodology, you're laying a foundation that can be replicated by others, so that it can be exponential growth as opposed to influential growth. And what the challenge you have ahead of you to change 180 million people and then a few extras outside of Bangladesh is going to require a system of methodology. Donna says methodology equals intentionality.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
She'll be at IMC, so Donna's going to hunt you down, by the way. I can tell you that.
Okay, I would love to meet her, Donna. So I'm really looking forward to meet all of you. So methodology is intentionality, absolutely. That's a very interesting point, and that's one of the most important point that she made, intentionality. So, and not the copying the exact methodology, not copying the exact process, because that would never work to any single body who is different. Because as I said, our upbringing is different. We come from different education background. Everyone is unique. But intention is correct word, because the intentions that we have, why I am doing it, what's the reason, how can I help somebody who is thinking, who wants to aspire, who wants to shine, who wants to grow. I want to go towards the root of his thinking and help him thinking his way, and then asking him why he want to do that and how can he do that, what actually hindering and blocking him, what is the obstacle, why he thinking that way. That's what I am thinking, to asking that way, so that whatever the answer they would give, in every people I encounter, I ask this kind of questions, rather than giving any set solutions or any learning that I learn. I do not give any solutions to anybody, is because the solution I am thinking is actually my way of thinking, but it's actually not his way of solutions that he need, because I do not know why he's thinking, why he came from, what obstacle he has, why he's thinking this way, what was his parenthood, childhood, what was his education, what suffering he has gone through. Through conversation, I need to understand, and the intention is only how can I help. Intention is only how can I help him. So that's the only intention that I have. Other things need to explore.
I'm just sitting here. You're amazing, my friend. You have learned and studied so well. Methodology. So listen to this. Methodology, questions, service, intentionality. I don't want him to end up at a point. I want to end up beside this person as they journey to their point. So I have a method. I know the methods that will provide some kind of. I'm going to ask a lot of questions, because my perception versus your perception is not going to be the same. What sparks me is not going to spark you. And so I can't apply the methodology that worked for Jan over on John. And the only way I can modify my methodology, my intentionality, my systems is through questioning, not through teaching.
Yeah, only thing I could do the trigger. because we have all the hardware and we have all the switches, and I believe the switches is actually the mindset, the brain, so only thing I need to help them to realize that they have the everything which is required to become the successful, to achieve it. The only thing is I need to help them to trigger the right place, and the triggering, because we have the switches. The problem is we do not switch on it.
I love this. So many people, and you guys make lots of comments. So when this is over, you can come back and connect to you. Don't sit on the sideline. Don't just send a little like. Actually, share this out. Connect to other people. Understand, and I want you. This is me being selfish. So at the end of the day, you can go, man, that was really selfish of Eric, and I won't care. This is a 20-year journey. This is a sacrifice of 20 years. This is $20,000 cash being put down on a dream on somebody whose income is between $200 and $500 a month. In order for us to honor that dream, in order for us to honor this person and the sacrifice and the dream and the challenge and the divine moment that he's arrived at, we need to get as many people connected around him this week so that he has all the resources, tools, and connections that he needs to go back and fulfill his dream. So when I say share it out, comment, connect, influence him, because he is carrying 180 million people on his shoulder today. Are you the first JMT certified coach from Bangladesh, or I know there's probably not more than 10.
No. Only in living in Bangladesh, only one there is, but he's not, but he's not serving. He was, he's working for a corporate, and the corporate, I think he's within only that corporate. So not practically.
So you are one of two.
Yeah.
John Maxwell certified coaches. You're probably the only Harvard leadership coach graduate.
Yeah, you can
serve an entire country.
Yeah, so that's why I am putting, the reason why I'm putting all this investment and self-development is actually I have a bigger reason and a bigger cause and bigger intentionality. That actually this is the reason why I'm putting all this effort, all this investment. I came out of my job and I don't want to live the mediocre life. I refuse to accept it, and I have expectations on me. I set it higher. Because why I set it higher? If I don't develop myself, if I don't understand it well, how can I help somebody to understand him? Because I'm not trying to give the solution. Then I could have I could have go for the MBAs, higher MBAs in higher schools in America, and learn those tricks and tips and everything. But what I want to do across the world, and definitely in my country, is actually helping them the mindset they believe, and creating the expectations from their life. And that's hard. That's not giving any tablet and solutions. Okay, you do this, you do this, you read this book, you do that. I believe that does not work that way, because if I give any solutions to them, so that's the reason actually I'm putting all this effort to make it, to pump into my, to pump into me as a barrel. So when the barrel will be fulfilled, I'm looking into this as a barrel. So I need to put this until it comes to this level, and then it would start flowing. So so time would come to that. I'm waiting for that time, and that's why I'm keep on doing. I'm keep on learning and keep on going places, people, and also talking to people. Because if I don't have this full, it would never flow. It's just also the tube oil. The earlier stage of what I learned is we always have the tube oil, right? In the early age, we pump the pipe, and then we have the machine, and then we pump the lever. It's always beginning is always very hard. We got to pump it. We got to pump it. We got to pump it. And before that, we got to put the pipe beneath the mud, right? Is 200 feet, 300 feet, 700 feet. That's hard job. And then when the hard job is done, you got to pump it. You got to pump it. You got to pump it. there is no water. You got to pump it, there is no water. Even though the pipe is connected with the eternal source, the unlimited source, but it does not come until you pump, 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 pump. At some point, water comes and then relax, and then slowly, and then slowly. Then there is not, no, no need to pump that way. Then slowly. Till that moment, what I learned through this struggle into this 16, 20 years, that I got to do that. When the water is, everything is connected, we have, but we are not willing to put this, initial hard job. That's the only difference, because we say everything we have, we're connected, we have the brain and we have everything. So why is not coming? So that's the
I
reason.
and having lived that experience, you and I both know that you pump, 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 and the water comes. And if you take your hand off for too long, you have to go back to the hard
Yeah,
pumping.
yeah.
And
True.
so what you are living out is the understanding that I am connected. And I have finally, after 16 years, started to see the flow of water. That I can't take my hand off the pump now, because everything and all of the sacrifices and all of the work and all of the planning and all of the things will go back down into the bottom of the pipe.
Yeah, absolutely,
That
absolutely.
now is the time that I actually have to work harder than I did during the 16 years to arrive at this point. Because now that I'm at this point, that if I stop, I lose it all.
Lose the
And
momentum or the flow.
and and the wonderful thing I love about that visualization, and I'm a visual learner, is the person pumping the well is often the last one to drink.
True, true, very true. I can give you another, because this is all about the momentum and the flow. Uh, I analyzed another thing is a moving train versus a train which is stopping at the station. What it takes to start the stopping train to start. It requires a hell lot of energy to switch on, make the engine workable, and before that you got to check and everything is in place, everything is in order, and then switch on. Takes engine to warm up, and then everything to be, it pumps the energy. So what if a small stone is in front stuck to the wheel? So when I analyze this, it would be difficult for the train to keep on rolling. That means to start from that place until the obstacle is removed. It's very tiny, but it's very methodical. Need to remove that obstacle first, and then when it starts running, guess what? You put a bigger stone, you put house, you put trunks. Doesn't matter. It would bam,
So
push it.
so coming from somebody who, yeah, you're in Bangladesh. Trains are a very visual thing.
Yeah, that's
Trains
no,
built
yeah,
India, Pakistan, and
yeah,
Bangladesh. Without trains, there
yeah.
would be none. Thank you, Queen Victoria, for the trains. But the idea that this size rock can stop the train,
Huge
but
train.
as
Yeah,
soon as this rock is removed, it can pull an entire nation across a country.
absolutely. That's the exact thing
And
I
that
realized.
little rock is that belief that I'm not enough.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the hard learning I learned last 20 years. Trust me. I didn't get to this point because what's actually this small rock in front of this huge engine, which is brain and mind, which is given by the God. And just I never look into the check into, I never try to remove the, okay, we were thinking, oh, I am so big, I can do anything. But the small rock obstacle in the mind, putting all the hindrances, causing all the difficulties, causing all the sufferings, but we are not paying attention to that small obstacle, the small barrier. you know if we can methodically eliminate this small barrier from the mind, from the closed end mind to open end mind, bam, the rock.
What I love about you, my brother, and I know that there are many people in Bangladesh that you're connected with, Muhammad and others that are supporting you, and that you guys are a network of leaders that are trying to influence a country. and that this is your turn, and that there are many that are going to flood behind you now that you've opened the door. So I don't want to discount all those people, because there are many people working equally hard and making equally sacrifice, and we all arrive at our appointment at the right time. But what I want people to hear and listen to this and share this story is persistence. Think and Grow Rich. Some of us just recently took a class and it was like, okay, I'm going to read a book for 14 days. And then we would maybe get 10 days in, or we would get 4 days in, or whatever, and it would fall apart. And we would, woe is me. It's an American expression. Woe is me is like, oh, poor me, poor me. And we would start to complain about, you don't understand. I had to take the kids to soccer. My boss wouldn't let me off work. And we would give up on the 14-day persistence, or the burning desire, or writing our goals. 20 years of earning less than $500 a month to arrive at a place that it's going to cost him $500 a night. 20 years of turning to his children, his wife, his family, saying, I'm sorry, I need to put this portion aside for a bigger dream, a bigger mission, a bigger purpose. 20 years of being told by everybody around him it would never happen. You will never go to Bangladesh. You will never go to America. You'll never study at Harvard. Who are you kidding? You'll never. You from Bangladesh. Nobody goes to Harvard. And who is John Maxwell? Who is this John Maxwell man? Why do you need to go to America and listen to this John Maxwell man? 20 years of that living in your head. And you still had the courage and conviction to reach down and pick up that little stone and move it off the track. I can't express to you how humbled, how honestly humbled I am by you and the achievements that you're making, the commitment and the sacrifice, and how small I feel standing next to you. You have done what many would never dream. You have achieved in this moment something that I'm not sure I could accomplish. You have a spirit and a strength to move mountains and to transform a country. I am honestly humbled by you and the people of your team and your country for what you've done today, and what you've achieved, and what you've walked through to arrive where you're at. And the fact that last night I was talking to you on the phone, and you had dropped your phone and it was broken, and you were like, I've got to get this fixed so I can appear here today on Fun Friend Friday. And knowing what it costs to get a phone fixed in America at the mall in Orlando, and realizing the sacrifice that you had to make and the decision of finances that you had to make that happen, I am so honored by you and being here today.
It's my friend. To come to this level, this place, let me share you one thing. When I wanted to quit my job and to live my life and dream and to live my purpose, is actually when I set my purpose that I want to help hundreds of millions of people, and I cannot do that by doing that job. Let me honestly confess to all of the people who are hearing and who would be hearing, please do not misunderstand. It did not come to me easily. I'm going to give one example. How hardship I had to go through. One example, and please, it's personal, but I'm just putting it to understand the in-depth. I had to face the challenge of divorce and separation if I leave the job, because my wife was not certain, what I'm going to do. Trust me. And I have questioned what's your children's identity going to be. So it was a time that this divorce was a matter of a day, right? And at 6 months, 1 year is more than that, six years, the conversation that way, 5 years went. I had the kids, and the divorce, I was not, I said, I was thinking it's going to happen in any way, because I'm going to leave and because if I don't leave my job from that comfort zone, I cannot do that. I have to learn, because I have to learn, and then I have to, share the experience. If I leave my job, I'm going to face the divorce. So that was the kind of scenario. So that went more than a year, frankly speaking. So I said, okay, if for that is that I have to accept it, because I'm trying to negotiate. I'm trying to make understand. It's not easy to always, to transfer the dream to somebody. It's not easy. So finally, it didn't happen. But I had to accept the reality that uh, I thought, okay, if it is that, I'm ready to accept it. But it's not the my way. But things were that rough. I had to, take into that route, and more harder way, more harder it went. I don't want to say, but I had to accept that reality. Be it, separation, divorce, and I cry for my children, right? How it's going to happen if I am divorced or separated, and I'm doing this? I'm going to face it. But one time I thought, what's the way I want to live my life? I was really looking into. I was having in a jail 16 years. So I said, if it is that, I have to accept it. For a good cause, not for, not to do something, for a good cause. The cause is ultimately the suffering I have made in 16, 20 years. I want to help millions of people not to suffer. So if it is suffering for me by going this separation and divorce, and then knowing not to do, I'm willing to take it. But if I can help through that suffering millions of people, I would be happy to do it. So things
So
went
you,
that rough. Yeah. Even when I came to US, living in my two kids and my wife a month, right, behind. The same way I came from 1994 with a luggage. Uh, if I mean they couldn't come because it's their school, and they're very cold. And I went to Boston and other New York, so it's very cold. So they didn't want. It was very difficult for me to leave them, and to come to them and leave without, again, the difficulties. What I'm saying is, the difficulties would always be there when we want to pursue the, when we have the larger expectation from life. Never ever the difficulties would leave us. Yeah, and the things can go beyond that. That's the what whole point I'm trying to make. It's not the money. Ultimately, there is from the core family also. Money comes later on, because when I didn't have money, I didn't have the ways. 20,000, $30,000 I'm spending into this trip, or like John Maxwell, Harvard, professional business coaching, and a lot of other, these things. I invested learning from Darren Hardy, from your country. I invested learning from Lisa Nichols. I learned from Robin Sharma in the online program. These are also thousands of dollars. At the time, people thought I am crazy. I become mad. Truly, because I become mad. I heard it truly. Let me tell you, people said, "You're mad. You're crazy. It's unbelievable. You can't do that." I never worked in HR, right? Human resource development industry. I never worked for training and development, right? And see, in my career, how can I do that? People ask, challenge, mockery me. And how can you be a trainer, a joker, man? You never worked for training and human resource industry. So at home on difficulties, the children. I mean, these are difficulties that outside is facing that. I, frankly speaking, I pay heed to nobody. I do not argue with anybody outside. So I am just only focusing what I want to do. I do not, want to hear all this negative. I stopped television. I stopped paper. I stopped talking to unnecessary people, because that's create hindrance in my mind. That's the hard way. Another hard way. I have to eliminate and create the blockage. You know, to whom to talk, to whom not to talk, to what to hear, what not to hear, what to see, what not to see. Because the kind of environment I'm coming from, if I do not do that, I realized I'm not going to live my life. I'm not going to live my purpose. I'm not going to do what I want to do, because it's not easy. I didn't have the passport, maybe 10, 15 years back, frankly speaking. How can I didn't have visa until last year for US. How can I go to US, and how can I go all over the world? you know the reason I'm saying, I wanted to have all this hard, beat, staying in the street. If I go for divorce and separation, probably I'd have to have very difficult time. So if I beat in hunger, speaking towards the street, I said I would accept it. Doesn't matter. I do not have visa. I want to go to all over the world. Mockery, crazy man. And today I'm in US. I have the multiple 5 years visa. In again going back, I'm going to Bangkok. In May, I'm going to Europe tour. I didn't know that. I got the chance later on. This is in May. I'm going to Europe and all the other countries. I got an opportunity from Commonwealth Common Purpose Leadership Development Program from the Duchess of Edinburgh. They select 56 nations people. So things were not that 2 years back, let alone 15, not even 6 months back. I didn't know that I could get this. I could come to this, right? So things now, what I said, I stick to that. I stick to, be it hardship, I am willing to accept this hardship. If I need to stay on the street, live on the in the street sometime, speak to them, okay. Then things are actually unfolding. It's not easy. It is. You don't know how many days. How many months? How many years? I had to cry to convince. I had to live also separately to come here. I had to put all this money. And then the criticism. Criticism, those can be handled. But the most difficult is actually making very core people understand the dream. That's the hardest part. Those who are with you, with me, the core family, when my children says, Baba, don't go. Baba, don't leave. I used to work for a bank. Baba, don't, where are you going to work? What is your office? I didn't have office. I am on my own. Trust me, my daughter every day asking, Baba, where is your office? Why? She said to her school, and her school teacher asked her, your father no more working for corporate? So what is he doing? Then she came to me, how pathetic it was, how difficult it was. Then I'm asked, what is your identity? What am I doing? Things came to that challenge. When it is children, that's difficult, right? What is their identity? So come on, I want to live my life and somebody questioning my identity and what I'm going to do. That's, I got to do then something. I got to live my life. If it is that hard, that rough, doesn't matter. I am going to live my life. I want to live my life, come what may. So if I can accept anything and everything, and that's a bigger cause. I realize why I want to do that. If I'm not able to help these hundreds of millions of people, what would be? They would face more difficulties than me, probably. That's the whole reason. That's the whole story. I had to cry. I had to face this. All the shiny things people see outside. It comes. years and years and years, decades of, decades of, you know, uh, ha- I didn't have money sometime to have food, to buy book, let alone coming to US and investing tens of 30,000 US dollar and putting on this. Buying money, why I am buying book? That was questions, right? What the hell I'm going to do? You know, people did not give opportunity. People won't. People won't. We have to, that I realized that I have to create my opportunity by creating my own path. And if I have the force and intention, nobody in the world, in the planet, can stop. Nobody. When I said, I want to go to the Harvard, John Maxwell, these are thousands of $1,000 and other coaching, crazy man.
But I love you, my brother. I had a dream that was so big that my wife would leave me. I had a dream that was so big, my daughter was ashamed of me for a while. Had a dream that was so big, I traded food for books. I had a dream that was so big that I had to be silent to survive. I had a dream that took 20 years to achieve. And it wasn't easy. It was lonely. It was dark. It was painful. It was empty. And today, you've arrived at the starting point of that dream. As a father, I know what it's like to have your kid look at you and you think that you're not big enough or tall enough or strong enough and still try and hold on to a dream. I so honor the pain and the sacrifice you've endured to arrive where you're at today, my friend. I hope when you step into that room tomorrow morning and you see the lights and the camera and all of the, trust me, it's a big moment, that you just stop at the threshold. And that you just stop at the threshold of that door as you enter and realize that everything that you've done, you have earned that moment to be in that room and to take in everything that you can, because the nation is waiting for you to return.
Yeah, I want to serve. I want to serve hundreds of millions of people. I do not know how. I am only looking for God give me some way forward. And I don't have that money, that ability, that charisma. But I am intentionally set my purpose, knowing that this is going to be very hard. All the challenges, the loneliness, the pain, suffering, the cause, the mockery, the roughness, the toughness, uh, I have accepted already. Now I'm looking forward how going to God going to give me the means and ways. I want to help the nations to transform. I have spoken to Ian Roberts, that Ian as well. I want to take John Maxwell team to my country to help my country leadership to transform, help them to transforming this. I have spoken with him, some other executive, directors, including Ian. So that's my purpose. And I can you help me? I don't know actually how I could do that, but my country needs this John Maxwell leadership approach, the methodology. My country needs badly. Then there are many countries. We have 180 millions, and more than that is 65 is percentage of this population is youth who are more than
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that Bangladesh has like the most
number one in the world.
millennials.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
a reverse population.
yeah. So guess what? Then we have more than 100, more than 120 million is actually young adult. So these people needs this leadership journey. all the leadership as of today is in they understand is actually taking, earning. But I want to seed this in their mind, give, serve, help, and the things would come. Things would come. So I need all of your help to connect John Maxwell, Paul Martinelli, to bring the team and what it requires. Even if even they want, I have to give all the money in my rest of my life earning to John Maxwell team. I would give them. If they want to have an agreement with them, well, we'll come to a country, and in return, whatever you earn in your rest of the country, rest of your life, you have to give all this to us. I agree.
I love that you just made an agreement with your future dream and you still haven't fully experienced the one that you set out to start 20 years ago. That you realize that the dream has now expanded and exploded from what it was 20 years ago. Again, selfishly, I know Dr. Ed's here. If I could ask my JMT community, my IMC friends, I ask you to share this so that when he walks into the room tomorrow and goes through the experience, that people will understand what his journey is, that he's just not another face in the crowd, that what it's taken for him to arrive, and that would greet him with a, I don't know, hashtag you've arrived, so that he understands it's one thing to achieve a dream. It's another thing to have people see you in your dream. And I am honestly so glad that we made this happen today. You are surrounded by Jan, who is the giant among giants. If you haven't met him yet, get ready. I know Donna's there. I know Edward's there. Some amazing, influential people that will pick you up, that will lift you up, that will guide you and teach you. The connections that you're building here right now, I ask people that are watching this, that have been seeing it through a share, that have influence with influencers, that have influence with theirs, that influence, echo this. Because my friend, you have taught me more about Think and Grow Rich and Napoleon Hill's philosophies in your lifetime than I could ever learn from a book. I've seen the law of people will understand. I've seen the law of burning desire. I have seen so much of what I am supposed to learn from a book lived out in who you are. You have what tomorrow you will discover is called JMT DNA. You understand the law of the lid. You understand the law of sacrifice. You understand that leaders have to go first before others can see. You understand you have already acquired the knowledge. Tomorrow you're just going to be certified that you have it. I know you've got now a Harvard, and you've got John Maxwell, and you've got some other things going on while you're here. I hope that your daughter gets a chance to see this and understand who her papa really is. Because she will be the proudest little girl in Bangladesh, knowing that her father chased a dream against the odds.
I wish.
Trust me. Your daughter will see you, and she will know you in a way that she has never been privileged to know you, and she will be proud of you. And your wife and your family will know and begin to see who you are. And it's a lonely journey, but don't give it up, my friend. Do not give up. You have come this far to only go further.
I'm putting all my intention and energy to the John Maxwell team and all these legendary people. How I could take this John Maxwell team into my country and to help the nation to transform. And come what may, for that, I am willing to do it.
And as a coach, I'm going to say you're not taking the John Maxwell team. You're taking the knowledge that you acquired from John Maxwell, and you are taking yourself and your story and your purpose and your passion and your vision and your faith into your country, because that's John Maxwell will not transform your country. Who you are and the journey you've experienced, the lessons you've learned, and the things that you're ready to create is what will transform your country. Just not another thing.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, that's so true. The whole purpose.
And I know John's not going to get a chance to hear this, but you're bigger than John right now.
So, so I, at times I keep on listening John Maxwell, people like Les Brown, Bob Proctor, 10, 15 hours a day, 10 hours to 15 hours, 16 hours, even 16 hours a day. I used to listen only to them, listening, and listening, years, at night I couldn't sleep. At night I could not sleep. I was listening, and I was listening to them. In my dream, they came true. They came. And I thought I must meet them. I mean, that was, I'm talking about, let's say, 2 years back. I was just listening. In my mind, I saw John Maxwell, I saw Les Brown, I saw Tony Robbins, people like them, Bob Proctor. What I could only, the free thing is listen to them and understand their perspective, why they are doing it, what they're doing, and then the dream came, why not you do the same, or you do kind of helping people this, and not the same way, same approach, but why not you help your way to your people, those who need this. There is the hundreds of millions of people are there, and across the planet it's like 1 billion people. The most of the time I realized that in this journey that I had the difficulty to believe initially that I could go to John Maxwell, I could go to US, go to the Harvard or anywhere. I had the utter difficulties initially to believe in this. That took me years to remove those small stone in my head, from my head.
And so here's what's going to happen. And I hope somebody catches it on film for you. On film, shows you how old I am. You had a burning desire. You had a thought that someday I will meet John Maxwell. This week, there will be a moment when you shake John Maxwell's hand. That the thought becomes a thing, that the idea becomes reality. When you connect handshake to handshake,
it could be tomorrow. I'm waiting for tomorrow. It's a sleepless night.
I mean, think of that awesomeness. Now, some of us who have been to IMC, we shake John's hand and it's like, oh, that was kind of nice. You stood losing your family, losing your job, losing your kids, going hungry, trading books for food, all for the opportunity to shake a man's hand.
Nobody
and
would
it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I'll tell you this I know about John. He'll know the divine moment that you've arrived at. And he'll stand in that divine moment with you. And nobody else will notice it. Nobody else will see it. Very few will understand it. But the two of you will understand the divine moment that you're experiencing and how much sacrifice it took to arrive. And so, my friend, if you need to hold his hand and shake it for an extra minute, I give you full-on permission. Do not rush that divine moment. It is yours, and you are entitled to it, and I want you to take all of it. And don't worry about the room around you. That is your moment. You have earned it.
I'm hoping only, and I believe that.
Oh, it's done. It is declared. And there are enough people watching that if it doesn't happen, they're going to make it happen.
How many months, sleepless night? Nobody knows.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, but I can. I think we've cried more on this than at my, at a wedding. Who thought all
it's a joy. It's a joy. It's a joy. Emotional? It's a hilarious joy. It's a hilarious joy of from the pain and anguish to dream come true. It's not
I,
the,
I,
it's
and
not
the
the,
funny thing
yeah.
is, I hadn't really had a Fun Friend Friday scheduled for today because I knew so many people were traveling and it was just chaos. And then I thought, wait a minute, you're traveling, we're in the same time zone, we're not 11 hours apart. How can we make this happen? And so I thank you for making yourself available. I thank you for allowing us to step into your dream today, to be on the dawn of something amazing. And I don't give that away because I know that the sacrifices that you and your family and your colleagues back home in the Toastmasters Club, that, you know, when they saw that you were going to be there, I had more friend requests from Bangladesh and from the Bahamas than I ever had. And every one of them was a member of your Toastmasters Club. So I want you to know that they're all like cheering you on. It was funny because every time I checked, I was like, yep, that's the connection. Yep, that's the connection. You have a community that is excited and waiting for you to return, to lead and inspire. I love that the Duchess of the Commonwealth has asked that you come and speak, and that the gates and the doors are beginning to open. But it's not by luck.
Yeah.
It is not by luck, my friend. It is the result of a hard, hard season and faithful honoring of your dream and your desire to serve others, and that the divine always honors those who stay the journey with pure heart and pure thought. And so I know it's only bigger, brighter, bigger.
Yeah.
Oh,
There is
Don
a
is going
cause.
to introduce you to Mark Cole.
Okay. So thank you.
Aren't you somebody?
Let me also share the, thank you, donor, and I would be getting in touch. I have already intentionally dedicated and decided that whatever earning I would make in my life, 90% of the earning I would put into the trust. The trust would develop a bigger hospital to serve the poor people, an orphanage center to serve tens of thousands of orphanages, and an old home where it would house tens of thousands of old homes, old people, those who are neglected, and all of those, blah blah. The children's orphanage and the poor hospital for the poor. 50% is free for them, capacity, and 50% is for to serve the rich people or the normal people. There would be library, there would be library, there would be for human development center. All my money that I am going to earn out of this, be it $1 million, be it $1 billion, is going, I would put it there. I'd put it
I
there.
I love your big dreaming. First, most people would say 10% I'm going to tithe back to charity. You flip the script.
I said
And you
90%.
said, I can live on 10%. I've been doing it for 20 years. What's another 20 years?
Yeah.
And then you didn't say, I'd like to have a library, or I'd like to have a place where I could help old people with lunch. You immediately expanded it to the point that it's going to take up an entire city block in the middle of Bangladesh.
Or somewhere,
And that's probably still going to be
yeah.
too small.
Yeah.
And you said it with such confidence.
It has been in my head, many years. I have written it. I have saw it as I told even my wife as well. Frankly speaking, that's what I'm going to do. Don't, please, forgive me. But it doesn't matter. If it requires to to do anything, to serve anywhere, to be the servant of anywhere, anything, I am ready to do it because I want to do it. It's because uh, when you see the people suffering, when you see the all aspect, children suffering, the people suffering, what could be the way to help them? All this actually learning, I'm learning, coming, investing is for that, the very thing that I want to build. And I want the world, the universe to take it forward. If I am not able to complete it, maybe my children, maybe others, that's what might actually, all all this hardship is now easier for me because I want to build it. I want to create this for the people who take it hundreds of years when I am not here and when I won't be here. So that's the my spirit, So
I
the,
I love it, and there's so much. It's funny, you can't see it on this screen. I know you have your other computer going. The number of people that have like stolen things that you've said and quoted by you and quoted by you. So now you almost have like a whole book of quotes that you have said um, from your wisdom and your teaching. I love that teaching that you gave us, that when we seek to serve ourselves, the universe moves slow. When we seek to serve others, the universe moves quickly, and that little rocks slow down big dreams, but they're the hardest ones to move. That when you stand on the edge of a dream, it may require more than you're willing to give up, but you still have to. I mean, I don't know many people that would accept the possibility of being divorced in exchange for following a dream, especially in a country where you come from and the stigma and what that would mean to your children, being children of a divorced family, and to your wife and the shame, like all of that. Dude, you're a giant.
I don't know. Well, I know actually why I am doing it, why I am crazy. No, I don't know. But
Hey, we're all
thank you.
crazy. That's what makes the universe fun to be a part of. But honestly, I don't know exactly when or how, and Facebook will probably tell me. But like I said, I so honor when my family from Bangladesh appears on Facebook Lives or through Success Life Coaching, or sends me a message, or I get invited to the Toastmasters Club, and I get to sit on the sidelines. You guys humble me with your determination and your commitment and your vision and your dream, and the community that you and Muhammad and others are building around each other. I loved when I had to connect the two of you on vacation. Like, you two need to go find each other. You're like just down the beach.
Yeah.
Um, you guys are changing nations. And, you know, I love the fact that you're going to be the only representative from Bangladesh, a country of 180 million people, standing in the middle of that 10,000 or whatever that are expected to be there this week. And you will you will be seen, my friend. You will be seen in the crowd. Trust me.
I can't wait for that
This will
moment.
be this will
Yeah.
probably be the so to set you up for the expectation, it's very busy and very crowded going down to the main hall and into the big event. You'll feel like you're back on the streets of Bangladesh. The only difference is this time, probably everybody will stop and say hello to you and know who you are and what your story is, and they'll pat you on the back.
Thank you so much for creating this opportunity for me, and it is the joy of happiness. It is the joy of dream come true. It is the joy of my life. It is the joy of pain that I have gone through and I'm going through for a bigger cause. I want to serve. I want to create this legacy, and I believe that everyone of you much better than me, and in different level, and you know all of your to me is something I couldn't talk to probably had I not been decided to come to this path. I didn't have the ability to talk to you, to know you, to share, and to learn from. So it's a what I
No,
can express is it's a
I tell you that I am. My tears are really just because you are a promise fulfilled. And when I see a promise fulfilled, it just it inspires me that there are 1,000 promises still being fulfilled that I don't get to see, and 1,000 promises cast to the wind, prayers cast to the wind that I know will be fulfilled. So when I get to stand next to you and I see that divine God has filled a promise and done it so abundantly and so magnificently and through so many obstacles, it inspires hope. And so next year, when you return to IMC, you'll be up on the big stage teaching that story.
I would love to share this journey and what is unfolding to me. If it helps, definitely that's I'm going to do that, because my intention is that how I can help hundreds of millions of people in any way, in any given way. I'm going to do that to fulfill this in this purpose of my life, and I'm going to do
Well,
that.
I will tell you that now. So Rajim, I always mess up the names. You know how bad I am with those names. But a lot of your countrymen are cheering you on. When you finish, take a moment, go back through. When you finish, take a moment, go back into Facebook and say hello to everybody. They're excited for you. Um, Everybody else, I'm begging you, selfishly, I'm begging you, share this out, share it out, share it out, so that you begin to help impact the 180 million people and beyond that 20 years of courage is stepping into. My friends, I am honored and humbled. I thank you for your time today. I know you're excited to go over to the main hall and get registered and start seeing people and shaking hands. Do not walk timidly into that place.
You
No
know,
one.
the funny thing is, yesterday I went to Kennedy Center. I took one suit with that, one with the I put it on the car. That car flew with my suit. When I came out, so my phone broken. That driver, whom I hired, who went away with. Life gives this kind of funny experiences, as when things are. So this is real life.
It is. But do not walk small tomorrow. Do not walk small
Yeah.
through this week. You have earned your place at the front of the line, the top of the stage, whatever you want to think. You have earned your place there. And no one is more deserving to take it in and have an extra dessert or two while you're there, okay? Because they're really good. The food is really good. I gotta tell you, gotta lose 20 pounds just to go to IMC and not put it
Hmm.
back out. But you have earned it, my friend. You have earned it. And I am so humbled and thankful that you shared part of the journey with all of us this morning.
I thank you, and I'm grateful to you and all of the people those who are giving support, mental support, encouragement, and comments. I would go through. I would respond. I'd love to connect, and in any way, if I could serve anywhere in the world for fulfilling the dream and desire to help my nation's people, my nation's hungry people, then the respected people back home, the millions of people, in any given way, if it is, I am there to do that, to fulfill that, and and what could have been better than sharing this with you, with the with your audience, people across, and would be those who are watching, and putting the time and effort for this, and would be watching in future. To all of you, I greatly owe, right? I'm indebted to all of you, and I do not know how to pay this debt, but I commit to you that I would pay this debt on behalf of you, to the people who need it, on behalf
I,
of you, to the
I
people who
tell
need
you,
it.
I tell you this, my friend, you owe nothing to no one, just pay it forward. And I have no doubts that you will pay it forward more than you've ever received. Your nature, your spirit, your heart will not allow you to hold it on. And so I can't wait until someday you and I are standing on a stage in Bangladesh. Um, that would be fun. But that would be fun. And you're going to be the lead speaker, and I'm just going to be the guy that introduces you because you're going to be so famous because the Queen, the what is it, the Duchess of the Commonwealth will be of knowing you and things like that. But you have earned it, my friend. You have earned it, and I am honored to call you my friend and my brother. And my team in Bangladesh, you know, you guys, you inspire me. And I love the fact they're all waking up. It must be 8 o'clock in the evening there because they're all getting home. They ate dinner, they finished prayer, and they're sitting down to watch. So you will be watching the feed throughout the day.
Thank you.
And
Thanks,
you've got
everybody.
you've got Dr. Ed's going to be watching over you. Donna's going to be watching over you. I know there's many people that are watching this through the JMT IMC family that are going to see you and know you and watch over you. I know you are in the best of care. And as I said, a guest is a God. And you, my friend, go with God this week. You have earned the privilege.
It's my pleasure, and I'm looking forward to meet all of you. To all of you, just pray and wish me some luck, some good thoughts, and for my mission, for my purpose. That's what I need from all of you. I can't thank you enough, Eric. I can't thank you enough for the intention, for the energy that you put, all of this joy of happiness, the love and expression from you, from the people, is priceless. That's for me the fuel.
Fill your cup, my friend. Fill your cup with it. It is given to you freely from all of us. You have earned it. I want to thank everybody else for being a part of the Fun Friend Friday today. Gonna have to like check the makeup next time. I think we cried a few tears, but they were tears of joy. They were tears of abundance. They were tears of seeing a dream fulfilled in such a way that it stifles the heart. And thank you for allowing me to see that and to grow through it. I will see everybody else on Monday morning for Success Life Live. In the meantime, I will download this and we will transcribe it so that as it goes out to our family in Bangladesh, they'll have the transcript as well. And if there's anything you need, you know where to find us. We are here for you, my friend. Until then, everybody go out and live your life with success. You have so many comments. You're going to be stuck all day long like a celebrity.
Yeah.
But
I got to have quick breakfast and then catch up all those. Yeah.
Pardon?
I would go for quick breakfast and then I would catch up all these comments and connecting all the
Yeah, I know. I interrupted your morning tea. I feel really bad about that.
My pleasure. This is my pleasure. At times food is not matter. Days and days doesn't matter.
You are a gift. I will see everybody else on Monday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern for another Success Life Live. In the meantime, if I can help you in any way, or if you have questions for me, reach out and touch me. But in the meantime, you know who you need to connect with. Follow up and check in. I thank you again, my friend. Be well.
Thank you. I respect all of you. My salute to all the great heroes. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.